We approach this day as a time to serve our neighbors in need, with you and with each other. May the spirit of prayer not only begin our work, but sustain it and conclude it as well.
Prayer and reflection begin this day and every day at St. Vincent de Paul Cincinnati's Ozanam Center for Service Learning. It's part of a week of activities that introduce these young people to their neighbors struggling in poverty. As we meet high school students Annika de Zoysa and Olivia Schamleffer, they're just beginning this eye-opening immersion experience, having visited with citizens returning from incarceration, interactions that already have them reflecting on their Catholic faith.
In Matthew 25, Jesus mentions clothing the naked, feeding the hungry, visiting those who are in prison. And being on an immersion retreat is really nice because we get to do all those things on a deeper level. And when we come back to chapel, we can kind of take time to reflect on everything we've gone through, everything that has happened during the day. It's a time to process and reflect on the choices we've made and how what we've done has affected the lives of the people who are in need.
I don't think you can judge anyone. I think that's a lot of what we're learning, and that also connects us to our faith a lot, because it truly is what we should do as Catholics, is know that we're all equal before God.
A lot of the students that come through, they have grown up in Cincinnati and they've seen the city from one perspective, and the goal is really to take them around for the week and show them that there's a bit more to the city and there's another perspective to look at.
Program coordinator Megan Kanapke sees perceptions change over the week while empathy increases as students find new ways to live their Catholic faith. Stuart Shumrick, a previous attendee, was moved by his week-long service learning experience and says he's seen firsthand it's not easy for people struggling in poverty.
Oh God, no. I think some of those people are just struggling so hard. You know, I look at them, I think the struggles they must go through every day, I never really thought about it until I hear what they talk about.
Delaney Munchin says a home visit changed her life. Even today, she remembers every detail vividly.
I walked into this man's apartment and he had absolutely nothing besides a popped air mattress on the ground. And he had, I think, 3 spoons, 2 knives, a fork, a pot, a pan, an empty fridge, and I think like 3 plates and a cup. And like, I just remember like walking in and being just shocked, like how he was living and how he was still one of the nicest people I've ever met, and just so caring.
Delaney prayed with him and was moved by his spirit of generosity.
He was so grateful and he started crying, like a grown man was just like crying. And he gave me this big hug, and it was like really important to me.
The home visit is a hallmark of the society, as Vincentians go in pairs to meet with people in their homes. Janita Williams welcomed us into her home and allowed us to share these intimate conversations as a wave of emotions fell over Annika and Olivia, too.
Words can't describe Saint's heart and how they help families, any family that needs help. I mean, it's incredible, it's amazing.
She was just so genuine, and the amount of gratitude she expressed to all of us, it was just like amazing. Her reaction was so intense, like her gratitude and how thankful she was just for everything we did. I'll take the home visit any day, hands down, to the office interview. You're going to their place where what they call home. You get to see the conditions for yourself.
I was really surprised about just how much it affected you. Obviously, meeting the people in their homes, that means something, but it's crazy. It just makes it so much more personal.
The Spirit's been moving, and everybody has joined into this relationship throughout the home visit, and it's normally just a short visit, you know, it's maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, but there's something special that happens in that time. And to be able to pray together at the end and to have our neighbor be able to lead that is something that always is special.
Previous attendees share similar memories of their home visits.
Their fridge was almost empty. They had nothing. I've never seen just a type of just how like a bear of a situation he was living in. So I walked in the apartment, and the first thing the father and all the kids did was they ran up to me, gave me a huge hug, and he grabbed what little he had out of his fridge and offered to make us breakfast. And when he said that, tears were welling up in my eyes.
Kate Sampson's experiences opened her eyes to a new reality.
I'd met so many amazing people with amazing stories. It really humbled me and showed me that these people are people just like me. They didn't do anything wrong to be here. I very well could be in a situation like they could be in. It was very humbling and taught me really to look at people like the people they are.
Immersion organizers say visiting low-income neighborhoods helps break down barriers, allowing the students to more fully understand the journey someone else is on, while helping attendees like Abby Smith come out of their own comfort zones.
It's not like you're serving down to them. It's not like you don't pity them, they're not below you. You're at the same level as them, and you're connecting through your service as though you're all just on an even playing field as like children of God.
The mission statement of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul reads in part that Vincentians grow in their spirituality through person-to-person service to the needy and the suffering. That certainly happens during a home visit. It's also happening on the streets here in Cincinnati as these young people are serving as guests in the neighborhood. The service learning experience is enhanced when attendees meet with people in their neighborhoods and learn the struggle to keep the lights on and food on the table is a real one.
Well, we definitely get to hear the story straight from them. It's not something that you'll read about. If we were to do a project at school, we might do some research online or something. But to hear these interviews, to hear people talk and say their genuine opinions, their genuine thoughts, it was just really eye-opening.
I think it just means so much more. You're forced to do it. You're not just listening to it, you're actually participating. And that means you're a part of it. That means that it's part of you, your personal experience.
Seeing the face of Christ in others touched Nate Niehouse's heart too.
If you see a homeless man on the side of the street begging for money, you don't really think about what it's like to be him. What I've learned is that all people have, especially people in poverty, have very big hearts, and it's very rewarding to connect with them.
It has really showed me how to see Jesus in other people. I think a lot of times we think of him as floating around in heaven in white robes, but we never think of him as the man experiencing homelessness on the street or the girl who has to prostitute herself to take care of her children. We don't usually see him in these dire situations, but serving with St. Vincent de Paul has definitely allowed me to see him in places that you wouldn't expect.
It's what comes next that may be the biggest benefit of an immersion experience.
It's really about what you try to take from it, though. You gotta, you can't just go through the motions. You gotta really go through it and think, well, what can I learn from this, from my heart?
You see an absolutely different side of that people are trying their absolute hardest to make it by on a daily basis.
It's really motivated by a love for all people and knowing that God is inside of everybody, and you just want to share your love with everybody else.
It has made me very appreciative for the faith that I have and for like everyone who surrounds me and helps me grow in that faith. It also has made me realize that like God is in more places than just in the church. He's like everywhere, and I'm now able to see that in a lot of like the attributes of people that I meet.
There's a reminder for all of us in Olivia's prime takeaway.
I would say I feel a lot more empathetic and open about people, and hopefully a lot less judgmental.
By raising awareness, encouraging mutual respect, and promoting solutions that bring impactful and lasting changes to the community, St. Vincent de Paul Cincinnati's Ozanam Center for Service Learning is helping foster a community of compassion, understanding, and justice. For Our Faith in Action, today's Society of St. Vincent de Paul, I'm Trace Trolko.